Live from the Sports Center of Connecticut here in Shelton, we bring you this presentation of NCAA Division I Women's Hockey in the New England Women's Hockey Alliance. Today, it's the last game of the regular season and Game 2 of this home-and-home set between the Sharks of Long Island University and your Post-University Eagles. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Back by our production team of Jarrett Michaels, Leah Lockwood, Michael Puglio, and Jai Ward. My name is Max Stapleton. We're thrilled to be bringing you through this regular season finale action today. As we head into the last 60 minutes of hockey in the regular season, we look at the standings and take a moment to realize the stakes of today's game. The Eagles are firmly locked into 7th place in the Newha Conference standings to close out the year, but they'll play either Assumption or St. Anselm in the first round of the conference tournament, depending on how the rest of today's games shake up. But meanwhile, for the visiting Long Island Sharks, they're standing in 5th place in the conference, a.k.a. the first team not to get home ice advantage in the first round of the conference tournament. But they're only 2 points behind Stonehill, so they've got a huge game today, a must-win game if they want to be playing next weekend's game on the island instead of in Massachusetts. Stonehill does play St. Mike's, and as we know, St. Mike's only has one win on the year, so who knows what's going to happen in that game. It's not likely per se, but there's always a shot. If there's a chance, you got to give it your all today for the Sharks. So it's going to be the Eagles trying to play spoiler today. Here at home at the Sports Center of Connecticut, we're having some speaker malfunctions here at the arena, so it should create for somewhat of an interesting environment, to say the least, some adversity. All the players got to fight through, maybe a bit quieter of a game, but should be fun nevertheless. Two red-hot goalies in net today with Hannah Saunders and Victoria Rutnick on either side. We'll get more into that on the other side of our break. Don't go anywhere. We'll introduce the starting lineups, goalie matchups, and, of course, we'll bring you the puck drop. As it's all coming up next here on the Post-University Women's Hockey pregame show. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut. We're just about 40 seconds away here from puck drop between the LIU Sharks and your Post University Eagles. So with that, let's bring in the starting goaltending matchup today. First for the visitors, it's the red-hot redshirt sophomore out of Nutley, New Jersey, Victoria Rutnick. Only her 15th start this year. She's pretty much been splitting time with Clara Kamholtz in net, but she's been starting the majority of the games as of late. A conference-leading 1.84 goals against average and a third best in the conference, 93.7% save percentage. Meanwhile, for the home squad, it's their captain, the senior out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. It's Hannah Saunders, of course, this year. Her 26th start of the season, a 2.51 goals against average, a 92.4 save percentage. Taking a look at some of her stats in her last 2 games, she's only allowed 3 goals in net and had a 95.2 save percentage over her last couple of starts. So for Hannah Saunders, she's been playing well. For Victoria Rutnick, she's been playing well. Feels like something's got to give in a game that has all kinds of stakes for LIU here in Shelton. The Eagles trying to play some spoiler at home. As I mentioned in our pregame show, there's some speaker issues here, so it'll be an interesting environment. Expect the players and fans to make a lot of noise to make up for it. And we are underway here in Shelton. Thank you so much for joining us, taking time out of your Saturday. The Eagles won the faceoff, send it into their offensive end of things. LIU able to clear it right out of there. And we'll see how the rest of this game plays out. LIU is known to be a very good defensive team, does not allow a whole lot of shots on goal. They have some flaws in their game. Their roster really wouldn't suggest a 5th place standing on this season, and they have been playing their best hockey as of late. Coming into this game, winning more games than losing in their last 5. So it's been an up and down season for them. It's been more up than down lately. We'll see if that continues today to try to close out the year. The Eagles back in their own zone. This is Emma Hain. Couldn't quite clear it out of there. Good play by Weiland. Able to keep it in, but the Eagles retain possession. Stevens able to cross it over the blue line. This is Devlin. Saw Devlin get a shorthanded goal in our last home game. That was only a week ago, I should say. About to say a couple weeks ago. The Eagles were able to score twice shorthanded in their second to last game, and then in yesterday's affair, they scored twice on the power play. So the special teams has been working of late for Post University. Going to try to rely on that today, but again, LIU, a team that just doesn't take a whole lot of penalties coming into this game. Emma Hain back behind her own net, able to swing it up to the far boards. That's Grom trying to play it across the ice, but that pass gets intercepted by Petruska. She couldn't control it, and Mikavicus takes it back into the offensive zone. Mikavicus at the left dot, backhanded try, easy save, first one of the night for Rutnick in net. Don't believe Saunders has been tested. Fans still filing into the stands here in Shelton. Pass gets intercepted. Nice play defensively by Emma Mortal, and the LIU moving right to left, and they're away. Aqua jerseys, we'll say, with some white and yellow trim. First whistle of the day. We're going to have a face-off. Actually, the door became dislodged back behind the net of Hannah Saunders. So, got to have a face-off back in the defensive zone of the Eagles with 2 minutes gone here in the first period. LIU in their away baby blue jerseys, white and yellow trim. Eagles in their classic home whites, purple and orange trim. Eagles moving left to right on your screen, win the defensive zone faceoff. Now try to swing it around the boards. Patfield couldn't play it cleanly, kept in the zone. Nice play by Wildfong defensively, and she has the puck on her stick now. Swings it towards the net. That was Kearns, able to get the shot off, but not on net, just missing it high and wide. Here at the blue line, Jugnoff gets it back in. Wildfong into the slot. This is Petruska. Petruska driving towards the net, sends it into the crease, and Saunders poke checks it out of danger. Back across in that far corner, Wildfong getting harassed by Tallulah Cameron. Ends up getting to Petruska. Petruska working against Webster. Stops on a dime, sends it across. Pass almost intercepted, and finally it does get taken away by the Eagles. This is Grom. Across the boards it goes. Kai Hyatt not able to clear the zone once again. Hyatt finally is able to take it out of there. Good pass across for Cameron. Cameron takes the shot, but that one misses wide. Don't believe Rutnick got a piece of it. Eagles keep it in, but only temporarily, as the Sharks still have possession and swing it up the boards. Boy, I think Wildfong thought she had less time than she did. Eagles able to take advantage. Kale's shot gets blocked. Nice play defensively by Robillard. Put her body in a good position to make the stop. LIU coming back the other way, but the Eagles take it right back over, and they'll reset things in their own zone. Callie Peterson the one who has it on her stick. Almost had it taken away from her from Drew Dykowski. Forgot to give you the starting 5 today for both sides. So for the visitors, it's Vreeman, Dykowski, and, Babington, of course. But now it doesn't really matter too much as Matthew gets the shot off. So we'll do that later in the broadcast. Babington, one of the conference's best in goals, assists, and points, both last year and this year. Able to get the shot off was Vreeman, part of this just spectacular top line for LIU. Eagles able to clear it out defensively, got it just past the blue line, but it's now tied up. 2-on-2 crime here between Anna Bernaire and Grace Babington. To the other side, Dykowski loses it, but able to retain possession, sends it across, and a nice play by Bernaire defensively to just poke check it into safety again. All 5 players get off the ice for the Eagles. Vreeman takes it back in, drop pass. Matthew's shot just went a little bit funkily off her stick, we'll say, and ends up going into the netting. Little over 4 minutes gone here in the opening period. Forgot to give you the starting lineups today. So for the visitors, it was Vreeman, Babington, and Dykowski, Robillard, and Knuston defensively, Rutnick and net. Meanwhile, for Post, Curry, Rose, and Noonan, Kale, and Mitchell, the 5. 15:43 to go, left in the first. Still scoreless between these two squads. Puck's mostly been on this side of the ice in the LIU offensive zone. Vreeman trying to go up against 2 different Eagles. Almost had it taken away from her, and Eagles end up getting possession back in their own zone. Rose sending it across, tried a little bank pass for Noonan, but Babington was right there to at least make a play on it, I should say. Now it's a tie-up right near our camera well here. It's Zoner and Noonan in there for the Eagles. Babington and Mortal ends up coming away with it for LIU. Good hit by Tristan Curry right in front of the Eagles bench on Paige Vreeman. Nothing called, and we'll play on as Noonan takes it up the ice. Rose drop passes back to Noonan. Noonan looked like she was trying to get a backhanded shot off, but a couple of defenders there for the Sharks, and the Eagles have to touch back up. Devlin has it on her stick now, working against Weiland. Devlin, using her speed, enters the zone, has it poke-checked away from her right at that left dot. Cameron able to intercept the pass at center ice and dump it right back in. The Eagles transition over to their forecheck, led by Georgia Stevens. Stevens trying to take it away from Robillard, who sent it back across, and now it's on Robillard's stick once again. Sends it up for Quackenbush. Got to say, one of my favorite names in all of NCAA hockey, Eliza Quackenbush, enters the zone. Has it taken away from her. Almost, but Karis Kale not able to retain possession, and Weiland ends up with it. Back to the blue line for Robillard. Robillard with the wrist shot, and that one saved by Saunders through a couple of different screens. Looked like Weiland was in perfect position there to maybe get a deflection, at least get in the line of sight of Saunders, but she was able to fight through it. 14:04 left to go in this first period, still scoreless. Taking a look at some of the stats in this game. Each side has had, well, actually now LIU has 2 shots on goal after that latest attempt. 4-2 total favoring the Sharks, however, but Post now has 1 shot on goal in the game overall. Puck goes all the way down to the other side of the ice, and we'll have another face-off here with an icing. 13:54 left to go. Mentioned a bit in our pregame show, but this game could very well be decided on special teams today. Both of the goals yesterday for Post came on the power play. Meanwhile, only a couple of games ago, they had 2 shorthanders. So should be an interesting game plan to see if Post can ever get on the power play. Of course, LIU, a team that really doesn't give up a whole lot of penalties in a game. So the Eagles will be looking to take advantage of that if they get their opportunities. Puck still in their defensive zone. Patfield, Kearns, Wildfong, and Kale all in there. So is Petruska now for LIU. Puck ends up jarring free back in the Eagles' defensive zone, but the pass goes way wide there. Jugnoth takes over. Trying to send it back up. Mitchell right there to take it away. Mitchell now trying to move it left to right, but again, this kind of neutralized defense for both sides working out well. Now here's a potential opportunity as Wildfong enters the zone, but the Eagles back check nicely. 3 defenders end up coming to play it. Somehow Wildfong almost able to retain possession, but Farberman takes it away. Back over to Bernaire. Bernaire now trying to set up a breakout for the Eagles, who just haven't had the puck in their offensive zone a whole lot today. Bernaire bank passes it in. Over to retrieve it is Sam Matthey, the big defenseman for LIU. Matthey couldn't get it out of the zone. Eagles with a shot on goal, and Rudnick in good position to make this save and cover it up. Boy, that happened quickly as Matthey got decked along the boards. The Eagles were able to get a shot right from the blue line and just put the puck on net, and sometimes good things will happen. You got to like the mindset there. If you're an Eagles fan, 12:37 left to go in this first. Face off to the left of Rudnick, won defensively by LIU. Schraffel couldn't bring it alongside the boards, ends up getting poke-checked free. Now it's on the stick of Zoner, sending it across to Emma Hain. Hain with a long up-ice pass intended for Noonan, but left just a little too long. Maybe a bit ill-advised, and it goes down as an icing. A little under 8 minutes gone here in the first. 3-1, the shots on goal total in favor of LIU. So we might be having an issue with our live stats, so we'll be taking a look at that too. But sometimes they pop up, sometimes they don't. So we'll be trying to get you the full stat rundown in just a quick moment here. But 12:09 left to go in the period, still scoreless between these first two teams. Zoner gets checked hard by Grace Babington into the boards. Zoner goes down. She's slow to get back up, does make it back to her feet and goes off to the bench. LIU takes back over in their own zone. No hand got raised, a little bit surprisingly there, so we play on here in Shelton 5-on-5. LIU able to take the puck away in their offensive zone, but the Eagles take it right back. That's Devlin. Devlin with a 360 gets it to Stevens. Stevens takes the shot. That one gloved down and covered up by Rudnick again. This is physical between these two teams early in this game, less than 10 minutes in. We have a couple of big hits from LIU to post Eagles here. Well, nothing's getting called, so gives you a good idea for the level of intensity for both these squads. Again, Eagles trying to play spoiler today. LIU sitting at 5th in the conference. Only 2 points behind Stonehill. They want to win this game and give themselves an opportunity to play at home next week in the first round of the New Haw Conference Tournament. Face-off won by the Eagles in their offensive zone. Kept in nicely that time by Zoner. Over to Peterson. Peterson working up against Quackenbush. Quackenbush, a couple of good poke checks defensively, forcing Peterson to almost lose it. Mikavicus ends up keeping it in. Gets the shot away, but never on goal. Hit a couple of defenders instead. Back over, this is Peterson. Sends it behind the net. Robillard collects defensively for the Sharks. That's Jugnoth. Stops on a dime, sends it across, but Peterson's right there to take it away for the Eagles. Here's Callie Peterson. Into the zone, takes the shot, but that one easily stopped yet again by Rudnick right into her chest. Both coaches and Kelly Nash in her 4th season with LIU. Brandon Brown, of course, in his first as the interim here with Post. Electing to send a couple of new platoons out there. It's Tim Marie Grom in the circle for the Eagles. It's Jugnoth in there for the Sharks, and Jugnoth wins it defensively. Man, the puck just stopped right there for a second at the middle of the ice. Nobody was able to grab it. Eagles do end up taking over. This is Kai Hyatt. Hyatt getting harassed right now by Ryan Kearns. A great play from her. The Eagles do retain it over on the far side. Patfield sends it into the zone. Chasing after it is Tim Marie Grom. Gets cut off by Kearns. Now LIU takes over defensively. Back behind their own net. LIU looking to break out. To the far side, it's Wildfong. Wildfong gets that one intercepted by Emma Hain. But yet again, she takes it right back. The Eagles doing a good job of making it dirty, so to speak, in the offensive zone, but not able to get those grade A scoring opportunities just yet. In the far corner, the puck goes. Picking it up, looked like it was Maddie Noonan. Noonan gets handled. Still able to retain it. This is Rose. Rose with the shot. Goes off the pad, I believe, of Victoria Rudnick into the corner. Another big check into the boards after that loose puck. Over behind the net, Jody Rose. Hand does come up here for a second. We'll see who it comes on. Gets touched up by one side, and we'll see who goes to the box. Looks like it's going to be a slashing penalty, I believe. Doesn't look like anyone's getting escorted as of yet to the box. And it does look like Grace Babington's going to go off with the penalty. So Babington going to get called for a slash, I believe, here at the 10-minute mark, just a little bit past it, and that's going to bring us to our media timeout. Eagles coming up on the first power play of the game when we get back. Just about 30 seconds. Back in at the Sports Center of Connecticut, Eagles go on the first power play of the game for either side today. Here just past the 10-minute mark. First shot, that one gets stopped by Rutnick and then cleared into safety defensively by a couple of Sharks. Give you the power play and penalty kill numbers in just a second, but mentioned it a few times already. Eagles able to capitalize both of their goals yesterday, and the 3-2 loss were on the power play, looking to keep that up today. Emma Hain at the far side, sends it in deep. That's Noonan. Back up top, as Grom's shot gets deflected up and wide. That was Grom. Back over for Noonan. Noonan in this near corner, looking for a pass, ends up back up top for Webster. Swings it down low. That was Devlin, got it to Mikavicus, and Rudnick fights through the screen, rebound, and Rudnick comes up big with another save. The Eagles not able to break through, about 45 seconds gone on the power play. Mikavicus circling around as one of her teammates goes off for a change, so we play 4-on-4 for a quick moment as the Eagles just try to retain possession. Eventually, Karis Kale does get on. Maddie Noonan off to Webster. Webster's shot gets blocked, deflected into the boards in that near corner. 50 seconds left to go on the power play. The Eagles still with it in the offensive zone. Another player goes off for a change. Kale's shot gets blocked. Rebound chance. And it looked like that time Mikavicus just whiffed on it. Kale able to keep it in. So is Noonan. But it goes right onto the stick of an LIU defender. And they clear it all the way down the ice. 34 seconds left to go on the first woman advantage of the game for either side. This one going to post. Pass went just a little bit long that time around. LIU able to shoot it back down. Eagles touch back up. Power play this year for Post at 10.4%. That's 7th in the conference. Penalty kill, 8th in the conference for LIU at 75.5%. Sending it in deep, it was Rose, but Matthew was right there to send it back around the boards, and nobody there for the Eagles has taken advantage as Butera. Butera short-handed. Great move, takes the shot, and a great save from Saunders. That's going to end the Post power play, officially back to even strength. Looked like the best opportunity on that power play came short-handed from Milana Butera. 7:26 left to go here in the first period. LIU with possession in their own zone, trying to break out. Tristan Curry trying to stop them, however, and ends up forcing the puck loose, ends up going down as an icing. So the Eagles will get the offensive zone face-off coming up with 7:14 to go. I believe we got our live stats working here, so after that power play, the stats have shifted somewhat. It's 6-3 in favor of the Eagles now, and 12-7 in terms of shots on goal, but of course 0-0 in terms of the score. Face-off-wise, Eagles winning in that battle as well, 6-4 so far. It's Anna Bernaire in the circle right now, trying to keep that up, going up against Jugnoff. Actually, that was Kearns, not Jugnoff in the circle, and Kearns won it. Battle for it as it's pinned up against the near boards. Bernaire's in there, so is Zoner, but Farberman comes away with it for the Eagles. Almost has it tied right back up. Quick shot on goal, easy save for Rutnick. Butera controls the rebound. Got her stick checked right at the blue line. Emma Hain able to take over for the Eagles. Hain has it poked free from her, and out come the Sharks. 3-on-2 forming for LIU, but a couple of good back checks eliminates the opportunity, and Laka sends it in deep. 6:39 left in the first period. Puck back behind the net is Saunders, picking it up. That's Laka back up to the blue line. LIU not able to really control it right now. One of the first times we've said Laura Nagy's name all game as she sends it in a little bit deeper, but the Eagles able to pick it up. Kept in that time by Knuston. Emma Hain touches up behind her own net, looks to set up a breakout for Post. Swings it to Farbman, now across for Tully. Peyton Tully gets it past the red line, past the blue line, dumps it in deep. Play a little dump and change, dump and chase game for Post. The Eagles try to intercept it at neutral ice, and they do. Hatfield takes it into the offensive zone. Gets hit hard into the boards. Nice play defensively. Looks like it was Kristen Kiggin there for LIU. Another hard hit, this time off the body of Paige Vreeman, and Vreeman takes over the puck at the near boards. Loses an edge, ends up going down, but gets the puck off to Kiggin. Now to the far side, Dykowski. Drew Dykowski, one of the top point getters in the conference, sends it in deep. That's Kiggin yet again. Looked like she just misread the pass there. Eagles able to take over. Kai Hyatt on a one-on-one here. Working up against Emma Mortal, and Mortal with a great poke check to eliminate the scoring opportunity for LIU. Puck tied up in that far corner. A lot to like here in the first period if you're Post. After LIU kind of came out, shot out of a cannon, Eagles have answered. Good shot from Ruby Mitchell that time for the Eagles. Easy save for Rutnick, and we'll have another offensive zone faceoff coming up with 5:07 left to go. 7-4, the shot on goal total favoring the Eagles. Penalty-wise, Eagles 0 for 1. LIU hasn't had a power play yet. And faceoff-wise, Eagles also winning, now 6-5. This is Jugnoth in the circle now for Post. For LIU. And it looks like McCavakis was in the circle for the Eagles, and she wins it. Stevens tried the tough angled shot, got blocked a couple of times. LIU looking to clear out of there, but McCavakis says no. She takes another tough angled one. Puck trickles behind the net of Rutnick and ends up clearing the defensive zone of LIU. Good play by Petruska, taking it over at neutral ice. Looked like she might have gotten tripped there, but again, no hand gets raised. We're having a good amount of play on here today in Shelton, which personally gotta love. Under 5 minutes left to go in this first period. Karis Kellen there forcing the tie-up defensively, but it ends up going on the stick of Petruska. Petruska tried to get the pass into the slot. Good stick defensively for the Eagles, and that was, I believe it was Ruby Mitchell who intercepted that one. It was. Either way, moving right to left, LIU, Petruska just puts it on goal. Easy save into the corner for Saunders. Somebody loses an edge there. That was Wildfong. Back over to the far boards, Robillard has it taken away from her. Nice play. Lily Zoner through neutral ice into the offensive zone. One against the world, and Zoner eventually has it poked free, and LIU now takes it back behind their own net, looking to set up a breakout. Eagles take it away. Good job on the forecheck for Post University in their own offensive zone, but LIU able to get it out of there quickly. Now they take over once again. Again, Maddie Noonan able to force the turnover. Noonan sends it across for Curry, and Curry has it poked free. Nice play by Robillard for LIU. Coming through, this is Quackenbush. Quackenbush gets handled into the boards by the big-bodied freshman Callie Peterson. Peterson trying to retain possession behind her own net. Ends up getting it to a couple of teammates, and Curry races after it. Ends up getting it to Noonan. Now Noonan 1-on-4. Elects just to send it into the offensive zone, but eventually LIU shoots it back out. Defensive first period here in Shelton, as expected with these two teams. Both these teams have a defense-first identity, and it's definitely been that way, as well as the two netminders who come into this game both red hot. Well, they're playing like it as well so far. 3:05 left to go in the first. No goals for either side. It was an icing, so the same five stay out there for Post University. It's Rose, Tully, Peterson, Webster on the far side, and Noonan, I believe. Fresh set of legs out there, and the top line out there as well for LIU, but Matthew's shot gets blocked. Nice positioning from Maddie Noonan to force the puck out of the defensive zone and allowing the Eagles to get a change in. Peterson almost takes it away, but it gets recovered nicely by Vreeman. This is one of the best lines in all of the country this year for LIU. And Vreeman, Babington, and Dykowski, they look to make their mark in this game, as they have in this matchup really all season long. Less than 3 minutes here in the first. Still looking for the icebreaker between the Sharks and the Eagles. Taking it back behind her own net, it's Bernaire. Bank pass to Farberman. Farberman just retaining possession right now, playing a little game of keep away. Peterson trying to do the same thing. Babington forces the turnover into the slot. Dykowski gets the shot. Saunders makes a couple of great saves. Boy, the stars are out today here in Shelton as Dykowski and Babington, two of the conference leaders, almost link up right there for the first goal. But Saunders, the captain of these Eagles, is able to say no. Best scoring opportunity, I believe we could say, for either side. Just happened with a little bit less than 3 minutes to go. A little bit more than 2 minutes to go, I should say. Another good attempt there from Wildfong. Bit easier of a save for Saunders as she covers up once again. Shots on goal evening out. 7-6 now in favor of the Eagles as this first period starts to come to a close. Face off to the right of Saunders. Mikavicus loses that one to Kearns in the circle. Shot attempt gets deflected up and wide. We'll have another defensive zone face-off here for Post. Only scoring so far in this first period is the penalty to Babington. Eagles were not able to take advantage. It was a hold with 10:22 in the first. So since then, just been a good defensive battle between these two conference foes. Mikavicus swings it across for Mitchell. Mitchell into the O zone. Takes the shot, just misses it above the post. Eagles control the rebound. Stevens sends it across, or around the boards, I should say. Mortal takes it over and now resets things for LIU. Back behind her own net. That's Kiggin. Gets it off for Kearns. Sends it forward now, Petruska. Petruska sends it in deep to the far corner where Karis Kale takes it over for the Eagles. Tries to retain possession, but right there is Wildfong trying to cut it off. Ends up exiting the zone, and LIU will have to touch up here. Wildfong brings it back in. Working against Mitchell. Nice play defensively from Ruby Mitchell to get her stick on the puck and force that shot to go wide. Vreeman still has it. Takes the shot right into the body of Saunders. Rebound loose. Eagles kick it into the corner. Still at the blue line, however. Robilard's shot gets blocked. Nice positioning from Grom defensively, and she has it now on her stick. Grom tried to send it in deep. Knuston blocks it instead. Puck loose back behind the net of Rutnick. Vreeman has it on her stick. Tries to send it off to her teammate, but right there was Lily Zoner, it looks like. Oh, boy. Couple of big tie-ups here between an Eagle and a Shark. It was Laura Nagy and Timmery Grom, I believe, but nothing gets called, so we'll play on. Less than a minute to go. Actually, only 30 seconds left to go in this opening period of play. Timmery Grom sends it across. That's Kai Hyatt. Nice play defensively on the back check from Sam Maffey to poke it free. Maddie Noonan trying to have a similar play here, but it looked like she got held up. Eagles do force a turnover in the offensive zone. Rose couldn't retain possession. 10 seconds left to go in the period. Zoner tied up, now brings it in. Maybe one last push for the Eagles. Zoner swings it back. Rose tries a tough angled shot. It gets blocked, and that does it here in the first. A scoreless first period between these two interconference foes. It's LIU 0 and Post University 0. Taking a look at the stats in that first, the shots on goal total ends up going to LIU in the first period, a slight edge at 9-8. But Post actually got more shots off in the frame, 17-16 in general. Of course, Post 0 for 1 on the penalties so far. They haven't committed a penalty, however, and we're dead even in the face-off battle at 8-8. Been a fun first period. But we're still looking for our icebreaker in this one as we'll be back in 15 minutes. Enjoy the intermission as you've been watching Post University Women's Hockey. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut as we're just about 30 seconds away from the start of our middle period of play here in Shelton. It's a scoreless game between the LIU Sharks and your Post University Eagles. Really not a whole lot to talk about in that first period. A very evenly played game in that frame. Overall, shots on goal, 9-8, favoring the visiting Sharks. Taking a look at some of the other stats in the game, the Eagles, they were 0 for 1 on the power play in the game. Face-off-wise, both teams have 8 wins in the circle so far today. So very even between these two squads. Kind of went in waves and stretches, so to speak. LIU started strong. Eagles were able to respond. Now we switch sides, and we see how we start the second period. A lot to play for LIU. Eagles trying to play spoiler. And we drop the puck, and we're underway here in the second. Decent-sized crowd today here in Shelton. Thanks so much for joining us. Babington immediately takes it in. Backhanded shot saved by Saunders. Knuston temporarily controlled the rebound, but the Eagles come the other way with a 2-on-2. Rose tries to swing it across, but Noonan couldn't get her stick on it. Puck trickled into that far corner. Knuston has it now, working up against Noonan. Puck goes right to center ice. Karis Kale picks it up, gets the shot off, but Robillard blocks it down. Kale regathers, gets it to Rose. Rose tries the shot. That one blocker down in net by Rutnick. Eagles still retain possession. This is Noonan. Less than a minute into the period. Found Curry. Curry's shot got blocked by Freeman. Puck right at the near boards. Emma Hain now dancing along the blue line. Gets it down to Curry. Curry with the backhanded try. That one doesn't quite hit the net. Just missed a little bit wide. Puck still behind the net of Rutnick. By the way, still loose. Freeman eventually does pick it up. A big collision behind the net. No hand gets raised. Will play on. Coming back the other way. This is Babington. Gets it in for Dykowski. She takes the shot, and Saunders makes the save. Grade A opportunity for LIU. Saunders comes up big between the pipes yet again for the Eagles in what's likely her last home game of her post career. Minute and a half gone here in the second period. Saunders touches back up behind her own net. Eagles look to break out, but forecheck from Weiland and the rest of the Sharks looking strong here. This is Zoner once again. Zoner taking it through neutral ice. Passes it to the near boards. Mikavakis. Actually left a little too long for Mikavakis. Kiggin was able to easily intercept it. Now LIU moves left to right. And they're away, baby blue jerseys, white and yellow trim. Eagles in their home whites. Blue and orange trim. Boy, losing an edge there was Tallulah Cameron. LIU takes over in their own offensive zone. Far side, Matthew takes the shot. That one off the post, I believe. The Eagles control the rebound, bring it up the near side. Kai Hyatt wasn't able to touch it up, but now a race for it. I believe Hyatt was able to wave off the icing with her speed there. Either way, Laka takes over. Try to push it farther up the ice to Quackenbush. Curry was right there to take it away. Now Cameron once again back in her own corner. Got it off to Grom. Eagles looking to break out. Through center ice. Patfield does the smart thing, shoots it in deep, gets a platoon swap in. Fresh five out there for Brandon Brown and the Eagles. Lisa Schroffel ready to try to break things out for the Sharks. Still looking for our first goal in this game. Sharks unable to get it through neutral ice. Bernaire takes over for the Eagles. Takes it back into her own zone. Swings it up the near boards, but nobody home to retrieve that pass. Wildfong now has it taken away from her. Back in deep. Farberman chasing after it for post. So is Emma Mortal for LIU. Now the tie-up. Same two skaters there as well as Kearns, but the Eagles come away with it. Off to Kale. Kale takes the shot. That one just missed over the glove and over the net of Victoria Rutnick. The Eagles still have possession at center ice, looking to re-enter. Kale shoots it in deep. Bernaire, Kale, and Tully all get off for a change. Meanwhile, LIU looking to move left to right. Wildfong fans on the pass, ends up getting it off to Kearns. Kearns crosses the blue line, gets met by a whole flurry of Eagles there, but Kearns somehow keeps possession back behind the net of Saunders. Still over there, one of her teammates gathers it, that's Petruska. Now Petruska swings it up to the blue line. Oh, good play defensively from Noonan, and now Noonan with a possible 2-on-2 forming, trying to send it across, and a great stick for LIU and Addison Robillard, eliminating that scoring opportunity. Curry Dancing around towards the net, takes the backhanded try, but that one easily blocked by Laka. Pass intended for Jody Rose in front of the net, gets poked into the corner here. That was Jugnoth with a nice defensive play. Hain trying to get it past a couple of Sharks, takes the shot easily. Kicked into safety that time by Rutnick in net. Wildfong back into the neutral zone it goes. Eagles once again looking to re-enter. Doing a good job so far in the start of this second period. Just keeping the puck over on the left side of the ice. And the Eagles right on cue take it back over. Mikavicus with a tough angle try. Puck still loose out in the crease. Battle for it. Nobody able to cover it up. It's Mikavicus who almost got the shot off. It got blocked by the skate of a defender unintentionally and ended up coming into this near corner. Jugnoth just trying to get it out of there. And Webster was unable to keep it in, just barely. Laka trying to pass it to herself, but Mikavicus is there defensively. And the Eagles reset. LIU with a much-needed change after a long shift in their own zone. Devlin shoots it in deep, and now Brandon Brown elects to do the same thing as he changes some of his forwards. Eagles trying to keep it in the zone, unable to do so, but it looks like they'll touch up back in their own defensive end of things, and Karaskale looks to break out. A little over 5 minutes gone here in the second period. The Eagles have looked strong in the middle period of play, but as we know, this game tends to go in waves. LIU trying to answer. Back at their blue line. That was Dykowski, now Babington. Babington at the slot, takes the shot, but hit a couple of different Eagles defenders. LIU still with possession. Dancing around Matthew. Matthew takes it. That one left just wide of the net. I believe she was looking for a deflection. Puck stayed on the ice the entire time. Looking to break out post-University and Riley Patfield through neutral ice into the offensive zone. Looks like she misplayed the puck there and ends up taking down Sam Matthew. The hand gets raised. Rutnick not yet leaving the crease, but the extra skaters should be coming on. Eagles end up touching up, so it doesn't matter. And we'll have the first power play of the game for LIU coming up here with a little over 6 minutes gone here in the second. It's Riley Patfield going off to the box, and it's a cross-checking penalty. So taking a look at some of the special teams numbers respectively. For LIU, they're 6th in the conference with a 14.3% power play coming into today. Eagles also 6th in the conference at a 78% penalty kill. It's been a good stretch for the Eagles on the penalty kill as of late, trying to keep that up. More on that in just a quick moment. But right now, LIU with possession, they shoot it in deep. Kearns chasing after it, unable to control it, but Petruska's over there. She looked like she misplayed it for a second. Laka trying to recover for her teammate and then tie up with Hain. Ends up getting back on the stick of Petruska. Behind the net of Saunders. Eagles take over, trying to clear it, unable to do so. Now actually that's Petruska who kept it in. Shot gets blocked by Hain defensively, and Hain with a great defensive play, shorthanded, takes over possession, swings it around the boards, and now this is Rose. Rose through neutral ice, shorthanded, chips it to herself, all alone. Jody Rose makes almost gets it in. Victoria Rudnick with a great save. Eagles get some of their best opportunities late in this season when they're shorthanded. Of course, only 2 games ago against Stonehill, the Eagles got 2 shorthanded goals, one from Bernaire and one from Hyatt. That time, Jody Rose was trying to get on the board. Right now, they're doing a good job of not allowing LIU to get set up, but Wildfong and now Dykowski trying to change that around. Along the near board, stops, passes up towards the blue line. That's Jugnoth. Now for Robillard. Robillard takes the wrister. It bounces a couple of times off an Eagles defender. That was Maddie Noonan on the penalty kill. Over to the near side. That shot went just a bit wide of the net. Takes a funky rebound and bounces out of the offensive zone. Actually, all the way back to the net of Victoria Rutnick. Only 20 seconds left on the cross-checking penalty assessed to Riley Patfield. Babington with a head of steam through neutral ice into the offensive zone. One of the conference leaders in points and goals this year, Grace Babington, was able to swing it around. Only 5 seconds left on the penalty assessed to Patfield. One last push possibly for LIU, but we're officially back to even strength as Patfield comes back out on the ice and the Eagles come in to help out. 11:35 left to go. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play in this game. Babington couldn't quite control that loose puck right in front of the post bench. Still loose over there, ends up kicking out to Weiland. Weiland circling around, unable to control it. Now this is Mikavakis. Mikavakis, smart play just to shoot it in deep, chase after it. Robillard gets there defensively for the Sharks, gets it to Jugnoth. Along these near boards, Jugnoth swings it up. It's Babington, just chips it forward as soon as she got past the red line. Looked like that line really needed a change. Under 11 minutes left in the second. Been a fun game so far between these two squads, a defensive game and a very evenly played game. Schraffel sends it a long ways across the ice, intended for Quackenbush, but she loses that race, and that's going to go down as an icing, maybe an ill-advised pass there from Schraffel. So far, the post-penalty kill, they're 1 for 1 today. Post, they've only allowed one power play goal in the last 4 games, so certainly something to hang your hat on if you're Brandon Brown and these penalty killers for the Eagles. Done a good job against some pretty good power plays in the last 3 weeks or so, we'll say. We'll see if that story can continue today. Jody Rose has it in this near corner in the Eagles' offensive zone. Now Noonan fighting for it, so is Tristan Curry going up against Schraffel and Mortal. Eagles still with it, but unable to keep it in the zone was Tallulah Cameron. It was tipped out of there nicely defensively for LIU, and good hustle play as well to get possession back in the offensive zone. Looking for a number, couldn't quite find it. Believe it was Schraffel who made those plays. Eagles with possession, but not able to retain it. Back up at the top of the blue line. Shot goes on goal, and Saunders makes the blocker save. Sending it across. Eagles not able to touch that one up. It's going to go down as another icing as Kristen Kigan gets there first. So the same 5 will have to stay out there for the Eagles. And we've officially reached the under 10-minute mark. Taking a look at the stats in this game. Shots on goal, 12-11 favoring LIU. Total shots in this game actually favoring Post, however, 27-23. So the Eagles just looking for a little bit more of those middle-of-the-ice opportunities, trying to get the puck on the net and forcing Rutnick to make the save. But overall, still a lot to like for both head coaches so far, Brandon Brown and Kelly Nash. Puck in a tie-up back behind Hannah Saunders' net. Jars loose. Now the Eagles take over. Crisp pass to the center of the ice. Webster decides just to dump it in deep after the icing. All 5 skaters really need to get off there for Brandon Brown and company. Over to the near side. Butera couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Hain fighting with her, I should say. Now Hain fighting with Kigan trying to take over. A couple of high-effort defensive plays for Emma Hain. Matthew tries to shoot it in deep. Goes right into the body of an Eagles defender. That was Tim-Marie Grom. Actually, Lily Zoner, I should say, who was able to block that entry pass. Puck back into the slot, but not able to put her stick on it was Ryan Kearns, and it just exits the zone as Knudsen has to touch it back up. Boy, a great opportunity. Looked like a no-look pass right into the slot intended for Kearns, and I don't think Kearns was just ready for it. Hyatt sends it to the middle of the ice. Tim-Marie Grom trying to work up against Kigan. Got it into the offensive zone, but that's where LIU was able to take it over. Dykowski for Knudsen. Knudsen along the near boards, working against Hain. Hain with a good poke check, sends the puck into the near corner. Battle for it. LIU not able to retain it. Kicks out into neutral ice where Farberman comes up with it. Possible 2-on-2 forming, but Farberman gets tripped up. Shot goes wide off the stick of Bernaire. Noah elects to swing it back around into that far corner. The Eagles able to gather it, trying to get it back out to Farberman, but unable to do so was Noonan, and now coming the other way, this is Vreeman. Paige Vreeman into that far corner back behind Saunders' net. Over halfway through this game. Feels like whoever might break through first, it could be the only one in this one with how good the defenses are playing, how good the goaltenders are playing. Huge collision going down hard. Ruby Mitchell after a big hit, I believe, from Maren Jugnoth. Jugnoth and Mitchell still in the tie-up, back on her feet, and obviously still in the game, very much so. Devlin sending it back up to the blue line. Wrist shot looking for a deflection off the stick of Mikavakis. Ends up going wide. Babington controls it now, sending it farther up the ice. Now a race for the puck. Coming in, this is Freeman. She takes the shot, scores! Paige Freeman breaks the ice, and it's 1-0 Sharks. For Freeman, her 9th goal of the season, her 21st point, and this top line strikes again. Against Post University, had a great game yesterday. Did that Freeman, Dykowski, and Babington line, and looking to follow it up today again. Freeman, with her 9th of the season, the senior from Rogers, Minnesota, making a lasting impression in this Eagles versus Sharks series. Eagles looking to respond now. Maddie Noonan tried the tough angled shot, but easily blocked down from Mortal defensively. Rose picks it up, back out to the blue line for Hain. Hain working against Wildfong. In this near corner, gives it to Noonan. Back up top, Rose. Rose with the wrist shot. That one gets blocked down actually by Hain. Looked like she was trying to deflect it, but had her stick lifted. Looked like that might have been a trip. No hand gets raised. We'll play on. Boy, physical game here in Shelton today. Hey, rather it be this way than the other way around. Eagles looking to re-enter the zone, but right there was Mortal. Schroeffelfan on the pass. Rose able to force the turnover. Rose sends it across for Hyatt. Hyatt's shot gets blocked. Ooh, good play defensively to recover from Emma Mortal. Another player goes down to the ice. That was Mortal once again. Eagles recover. Back up top, that's Peterson looking forward, deflects a couple of times. Believe it went off the mask of Rutnick, died right in her crease, and the Sharks take over. Petruska sends it up the ice on the counterattack to Wildfong. LIU goes off for a change. Smart not to touch it there. It would have been too many women on the ice, so Patfield takes over. Shot goes right into the body of Mortal yet again. She takes over. Wildfong sends it up and out of the defensive zone where Karis Kale gathers it for the Eagles. Shoots it back in, but instead goes right to Kristen Kiggin. Now here come the Sharks moving left to right with a recent 1-0 lead on the 9th of the season from Freeman. Big collision yet again right at that near corner in the Eagles defensive zone. Kai Hyatt through neutral ice to Karis Kale. Kale with the shot, she scores! Punch, counterpunch. The Eagles answer right back. And it's now a 1-1 game. Karis Kale with her 3rd of the season and her 4th point this year against LIU in general. She also loves this matchup. And we've got a brand new game here in Shelton. Might be able to see Karis Kale getting all the love taps, but over on the other side we got Victoria Rutnick getting a bunch of love taps from her defenders as well. Obviously, if you're Rutnick, probably didn't want to let that one go through. But if you're Karis Kale, you put the puck on net, good things happen, and the Eagles respond right back. Babington back in her own defensive zone. Now she gets it up the ice. This is Dykowski. Dykowski sends it across, and Saunders comes out of her crease to cover it up and make the save. Oh, another great scoring opportunity here for Hannah Saunders. Or excuse me, not for Hannah Saunders, but against Hannah Saunders for Drew Dykowski in that top line of LIU. But Hannah Saunders comes up big yet again. Take us to our media timeout. 5:09 left to go in the second. 1-1 game between the Sharks and Eagles. 5:09 left to go here in the second period. Brand new game, all tied up at 1 apiece between the Sharks and the Eagles. Karis Kale nets her third of the season, her second goal of the year, and her fourth point total against these Sharks. So she has had a lot of success in this matchup this season, and that time it was just putting the puck on net, able to just sneak one by Victoria Rutnick, who has been rock solid in between the pipes over the last couple of weeks, but she'll probably say it herself, wants to have that one back for sure. Either way, it's 1-1. Coming through right to left, Selena Mikavicus able just to send it in deep for post. Robillard collects for LIU. Dykowski along the near board, sending it into center ice. That's Vreeman now to Babington. This stellar top line back out there for Kelly Nash. That shot gets deflected just up and over the net of Hannah Saunders. Puck trickles into the neutral zone. Emma Hain fighting for it and ends up getting taken down. A good play by Knuston defensively, the extra skater for LIU today. Dykowski's shot gets blocked by Zoner. The true freshman making her mark in this series as well. Somewhat of a rivalry between these two forming. Definitely been some heated games this year, to say the least. Very physical brand of hockey with these two teams whenever they play each other. Into neutral ice, trying to take advantage of a change was Ryan Kearns, but the Eagles recovered nicely. Back behind their own net, trying to break out. Noonan sends it back there for Hain, I believe. Now Karis Kale, the recent goal scorer. Good pass up the center of the ice, but unable to handle it was Jody Rose. Puck goes all the way back behind the net of Saunders. Should be an icing, and it will be. 3:37 left to go here in this middle period. 1-1 between these two teams. Taking a look at some of the stats now. Shots on goal, 15-13 in favor of the visiting Sharks. Total shots, however, 37-30 in favor of Post. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play today. Face-off-wise, Eagles winning that battle 12-10. It's Grom in the circle, who wins it against Kearns. Patfield with the shot, and Rutnick gloves that one down easily. Rutnick, the redshirt sophomore out of Nutley, New Jersey. Once again, her 15th start this year, has a conference best 1.48 goals against average this year. Of course, a little bit helped out by the defense and a little bit helped out by the fact that she split time with Clara Kamholtz, but still just some stellar numbers for her. And a tough puzzle to crack for many offenses across the New England Women's Hockey Alliance, including this one this year. Hand gets raised. And it looked like it was just going to be a delayed offsides, excuse me. So we'll continue to play on. Now actually there is a whistle. A different hand got raised that time. And we are having a hooking penalty getting called here. Looks like it's going against Victoria Petruska of the LIU Sharks. So it's going to be a hook here at 13:46, we'll say. The math there was a little shaky, but we got there at the end of the day. Petruska goes to the box for 2 minutes, and the Eagles, who are 0 for 1 on the power play, look to try to make it 1 for 2 towards the end of the second period. They win the offensive zone face-off. Over there is Stevens. Good play by Butera to almost take it away for LIU. Eagles cycle it around. Kale for Rose. Rose with the shot. That one gets blocked. Great recovery from Butera defensively as she was able to deflect that into the netting. And we're under 3 minutes to go. 1:44 left on the woman advantage. Eagles 0 for 1 today on the season. They entered today with the 7th best power play in the conference at 10.4%. Penalty kill-wise, number 8 for LIU. Last place in the conference at 75.5%. Good shot from the blue line there, but easily knocked down by Rutnick and cleared out of the defensive zone of LIU as Karis Kale will have to retrieve for Post. This is Kale through neutral ice. Back into the offensive zone she goes. Kale with a good move. Shot on goal and a kick save that time from Rutnick. Kale recovers her own rebound. Now here in the near corner. Sends it in for Curry. Curry back up top. Rose. Now across. This is Stevens. Georgia Stevens looking for a lane. Back to Rose. Rose takes the shot. That one blocked down by Schroffel in front of the net. Emma Hain retains, keeps it in, dancing around, gets past a couple of different Sharks, finds Stevens, and the Eagles with some crisp puck movement here. Oh, almost a great opportunity for Maddie Noonan with the woman advantage, but elects just to reset. Rose takes the shot that time. Noonan looking for the deflection. Puck loose out in front, and Curry controls it. Puck still in the offensive zone of the Eagles. 40 seconds left to go on the power play. Hayne dancing around the blue line. Sends it in deep. Back over for McKavikis with the one-timer, and that one knocked down by Rudnick. Rebound controlled temporarily by LIU, but McKavikis with a great play to keep it in the offensive zone. Hayne sends it back across for Webster. McKavikis one-timer again, and Rudnick makes the save. Minute 30 to go in the period. 15 seconds left on the advantage. Noonan with another shot. Deflects on net. Trickles behind Rudnick. No goal. It goes through the crease. Dances along the line and ends up getting knocked out. Oh, what a great save from Rudnick and a couple of her defenders there to keep this game tied at 1-1. Back at even strength, the Eagles by a matter of inches go to 0 for 2 on the power play today. But again, you got to like what you're seeing with the woman advantage if you're Brandon Brown, because that was a crisp and good-looking power play for Post. Webster sends it in, chasing after it. Getting tackled down to the ground that time was Patfield. A great play defensively. I believe it was Kiggin. Hockey's a physical sport, and you got to love the physicality you're seeing in this game. The game has some very high stakes for LIU, trying to get home ice advantage and move up a place with a win today and a St. Mike's loss. The Eagles looking to play some spoiler as we trickle down to 30 seconds left in the second period. Farberman possibly trying to set up one last push for Post in this middle period of play. Taking it through neutral ice. Past the red line, tried to get it past the blue line. They did enter offsides, but I think Timmery Grom thought she was offsides and ended up touching back up. It goes down as an icing either way here. So with 9.3 left to go in the period, we'll have another offensive zone faceoff coming up for the Eagles. Just a close, competitive game between LIU and Post today. It's been very fun to watch. No scoring in the first period. Now we have a little bit of a stoppage here. Looks like Kelly Nash wants a bit of an explanation on the icing, I believe, or maybe there was an argument on who was supposed to stay on the ice for LIU there, but either way, they got their 5. Just wanted to see what all the commotion was about. By the way, the first goal was from Paige Freeman, that top line striking again for LIU, and then Karis Kale was able to respond. Defensive zone win for LIU. They shoot it down the ice. Puck ends up dying in the defensive zone of the Eagles, so no icing. Ends up as a really good clearance, actually. That's going to do it here for the second period of play. But what a fun period it was. Once again, the 9th of the season for Paige Freeman. Her 6th point against the Eagles so far this year. That made it 1-0 in favor of the Sharks, but only a couple of minutes later, it was Karis Kale answering right back for her 3rd of the season and her 4th point, against the Sharks this year to even it up at 1 apiece. So don't go anywhere as we have a crucial third period of play in terms of the Newha Conference standings coming up in only about 15 minutes as you've been watching Post University Women's Hockey. Welcome back into the Sports Center of Connecticut as we're just about 30 seconds away from starting our presumably third and final period of play. I should say third and presumably final, but hey, it works out just the same. It's a 1-1 game between the Sharks and the Eagles, and this has been a fun one between these two squads. Each team scored in the second period. For the visitors, it was Paige Vreeman and that stellar top line with her 9th of the season, making it 1-0. But then Karis Kale, only 2 minutes and 2 seconds later, answered back with her 3rd of the season, really just sneaking one by Victoria Rutnick in net. So we got a fresh game pretty much 1-1 as we enter the final 20 minutes of play here in Shelton. Jody Rose ready in the face-off circle. Grace Babington ready in the circle for LIU. The puck is dropped and we're underway here in Shelton. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your Saturday to join us. Should be a fun final 20 minutes of play. Of course, what's at stake here is LIU at 5th in the conference, looking to gain a position with a win in regulation today and a regulation loss for Stonehill. And if that were to happen, of course, they would host a game in the first round of the conference tournament next week. A lot to be decided and a lot at stake in the next 20 minutes. Puck right in front of the post bench. Eagles end up taking over. That's the goal scorer, Karis Kale. Send it across to the near side, and Rose decides to dump it in deep. Goes back behind the net of Petruska. And LIU looks to break out, once again moving right to left here in this third period in their baby blue jerseys. They ice it, however, only about 50 seconds in. We'll have an offensive zone faceoff coming up for the Eagles. Assists on those goals, by the way. On the goal for LIU was Vreeman who scored it, but Babington got the primary, Dykowski the secondary. That's her 16th for Grace and her 11th for Drew. Meanwhile, on the post goal, it was Kai Hyatt picking up her 2nd assist of the season, the lone assist on the Karis Kale game-tying goal. Emma Hain dumps it in deep. Puck goes back around the boards for Post University, but McCavikis is able to at least fight for control of the puck. Webster picks it up, takes the shot, deflects just over the net of Rutnick. I don't know if Rutnick saw that deflection. She kept her head straight, and the puck was right behind her net, but either way, no harm, no foul for LIU. A little over 1 minute gone in the period. LIU looking to go right to left, but we blow that one dead. I believe the puck might have deflected into the bench of the Sharks, so we'll have a neutral zone faceoff coming up with 18:39 to go in the second. Looking elsewhere in the Newha Conference today, Assumption and Sacred Heart already underway, so is Franklin Pierce and St. Anselm. Of course, the game to really keep an eye on is St. Mike's and Stonehill for our LIU fans tuning in today. We'll get you some scoring updates during our next whistle, but for now, LIU moving it right to left, sending it through the neutral zone. Good race for the puck in Quackenbush, but it ends up going down as an icing. So let's take a look at some of the live stats over on the other side. And, well, it's not necessarily looking great for LIU fans. Stonehill right now, about halfway through the game, winning 2-0 at home against St. Mike's. Face off to the right of Victoria Rutnick, and obviously doesn't really matter what happens in that Stonehill game if LIU doesn't find a way to win this one here in Shelton today. Puck ends up clearing their defensive zone, goes all the way back into the Eagles zone. Not an icing as it ends up just short of that red line. So Webster sends it back around, and the Eagles look to break out. Sending it in deep, Kai Hyatt. She gets off as well as the rest of her team. A fresh 5 out there for Brandon Brown. LIU trying to take advantage. A long up ice pass for Quackenbush. Gets deflected into the netting, and we'll have another face-off coming up here at neutral ice. Also must be a point of pride for Brandon Brown today. It's been a lot of penalties leading into the series for Post, coming into these couple of games against LIU, but only took a couple of yesterday and so far only one today. They've actually been on the power play twice so far, so for Post, staying out of the boxes has to be key, but a bad pass there. Wildfong takes over, takes the shot, and misses the net just wide. Boy, great A opportunity for Wildfong as they follow it up. Rebound chance, and Wildfong scores! 2-1 LIU. For Crosby Wildfong, the sophomore out of Linden, Michigan, with her 7th goal of the year, her 15th point overall. And that gives the Sharks the advantage here on the road in a must-win game. They're now up by a goal, 2-1. Looked like Wildfong just a couple of seconds earlier had a great opportunity all alone and missed the net. But LIU was able to control the rebound, got a quick shot on. Saunders was able to make one save, but Wildfong in a perfect position on the rebound and a wide open net to shoot at. Nothing Hannah Saunders could do. It was an easy goal to make it 2-1. See how the Eagles can answer here. They deflect it back into the offensive zone, but Noonan was right in front of the blue line, so no icing going to be called there. Bortle playing it behind her own net, getting harassed by Maddie Noonan. Noonan going heavy on the back check there, and it actually works out pretty well. Puck gets jarred loose and comes all the way back into the defensive zone, actually behind the net of Hannah Saunders, where it will go down as an icing. You know, for Crosby Wildfong as well, came into this game with 14 points. That was her 15th of the year. Again, 4 of them against these Eagles. So there's a lot of these Sharks who have liked this matchup offensively, but you can also say the same thing for Post University. And a lot of their forwards had some success in getting past the LIU netminders in games previously. Still, LIU trying to make it a clean season sweep this year and move to 4-0 against the Eagles. Face off to the left of Victoria Rutnick. Mikavicus in the circle for a post. Looks like she just barely lost that one off the tie-up. Babington takes over for LIU. Babington into her zone. Sends it into the slot, but nobody home to retrieve the pass. Looked more like a pass than a shot, and Saunders never got a piece of it, so the puck ends up being loose in that far corner, and the Eagles now have it. Stevens through neutral ice into the offensive zone. Good play just to get around Marin Jugnath, but not able to retain possession. Eagles trying to take it away on the forecheck, but it does exit the zone. Now using her speed, Drew Dykowski sets up a scoring opportunity here across for Freeman. Great save, Saunders, rebound, they score! And just like that, it's a 2-goal lead for LIU, 3-1. That top line strikes again. Paige Freeman strikes again. Her second of the game. 10th of the season. One of the best lines in the country. Just hard to defend in Freeman, Babington, and Dykowski. This time Paige Freeman getting a couple of goals added to her season ledger. Now up to number 10 on the year. Double digits for the LIU forward. A little bit of the wind knocked out of the sails here in Shelton. Somewhat of a hush falls over the crowd, and we'll see if if Post can reignite some energies here in their final game of the regular season. 16 minutes left to go in the third period. Still plenty of time, but LIU trying to add on and really adding on some pressure here. The puck is staying in the Post defensive zone. Laka has it on her stick, dancing around, trying to work against the harassment of Ruby Mitchell. Ends up just sending it in deep behind the net of Saunders. Kale goes to pick it up. Kale, dangerous pass there, right in front of the crease of Saunders. Lucky that it ended up trickling back into the boards. Wildfong wins the tie-up there. Butera sends one into the slot. Good tie-up defensively from Kale as she lifted the stick of Laka, not allowing her to get a shot on goal. Wildfong sends it back into the offensive zone of LIU, but she goes off for a change. Many of her teammates do as well. Really a fresh 4 out there for Kelly Nash and company. Eagles and Emma Hain try to re-enter the zone. Hain fighting through a couple of different poke checks, ends up almost retaining possession. A couple of bodies go down to the ice, but LIU has it now. Pass intended for Quackenbush, left just a little too hot there. She couldn't handle it. Zoner couldn't handle her own pass, and LIU takes it back over. Puck trickles back into the defensive zone of the Eagles. Icing gets waved off there, interestingly enough. Say someone tipped it in front of the red line. So at neutral ice we go, and the Eagles trying to come back in this one. This is Noonan. Noonan takes the shot but misses it just wide into the far corner. Curry chasing after the rebound with Weiland. Gets it over to Noonan. Noonan gets cross-checked hard into the boards. Goes down to the ice. She seems to be okay. Surprised no hand gets raised again there. Cameron unable to keep it in the offensive zone. Webster ends up touching it up for Post. LIU looking to break out now. Kiggin along the far boards. Sends it up to her teammate, trying to get it through neutral ice, but really just nothing doing for the Sharks on that entry attempt. The Eagles trying to answer. Cameron, past the blue line. She takes the shot. That one gets gloved down by Rutnick rather easily, and we'll have a face-off coming up in the Eagles' offensive zone. 13:47 left to go in this third period of play. Entered the period tied up at 1 apiece, but quickly it became 3-1 in favor of the visitors. And we'll get you some of the third period specific stats in just a moment. Face-off won by the Eagles, but it goes up into the netting. So now we'll get you some of those more third period specific stats. Shots on goal total, well, 4-1 actually, in favor of LIU after that most recent shot from the Eagles. Overall in the face-off circle, LIU winning that one, now 6-3 for them here in the third period. So they've come out in this third playing like a must-win game. They followed it up. It's time for the Eagles to try to answer if they can. Goes back into their offensive zone as they transition to the forecheck. Meanwhile, LIU able to break out. Babington through neutral ice into the offensive end. Babington at the left slot. Nice play defensively from Callie Peterson. Able to poke check that one free. Fight for it. And Mikavicus picks it up. Now to Stevens. Stevens through neutral ice. A 1-on-2 going for Stevens and tries just to shoot it in deep a couple of times. Ends up hitting the body. I believe it was Emma Mortal right there who got herself a couple of blocks. Karis Kale back up top for Peterson. Peterson elects to shoot it back behind the net of Rutnick, and the rest of her teammates going to go off for a change there. Over to the near side. Vreeman gets around Zoner, gets around Grom, takes the shot. Oh, what a goal! A beauty of a goal for the hat trick for Paige Vreeman. Can hear the LIU bench hyping up Paige Vreeman as she collects the hat trick. The senior out of Rogers, Minnesota, now with her 11th goal of the season. Makes it a 4-1 LIU lead. That goal, one of the better ones you will see. A couple of dangles for Paige Vreeman entering the offensive zone, getting around not one but two separate Eagles defenders, and ultimately finding a way to just sneak it by Hannah Saunders. A great A opportunity again for the Sharks, and they take advantage. They now go up by 3 goals here in the third. Tully gets taken down hard right at the blue line, and it does look like a whistle gets blown, but I believe it's only going to be for offsides here, so no penalty gets raised. Now 4-1 in favor of LIU. Face-off coming up at neutral ice. Jody Rose goes into the circle. So does Ryan Kearns. Puck gets dropped. Tie up and a loose puck. It ends up going LIU's way, so count as a win for Kearns in the circle. Wildfong enters the zone along the near boards. Gets it to Kearns behind the net. She sends it back to Wildfong. Now the rebound chance right into the chest of Saunders. That shot off the stick of Addison Robillard. And right now there's just a lot of offensive pressure for LIU in this game. Getting 3 goals here in this third period. Overall 6-2 shots on goal total in the third. And face-off wise, they're winning that battle 8-4 as well. The Eagles win at that time, however, so make it 8-5. That's Devlin. Devlin through neutral ice, sends it back on net, actually, and Rutnick is going to have to cover that one up as a couple different Eagles were racing in. Of course, the hat trick for Paige Vreeman today really kind of put this game on ice early in the third. Still plenty of time, but not likely here for the Eagles. Vreeman with her 9th, 10th, and 11th goals of the season. The 11th might be one of the better ones you'll see all season long. A huge collision once again on just a violent stick lift there. It looks like somebody's going to go to the box. Not sure what the call is going to be. It'll be interesting. It's Kiggin going to the box, and it is going to be a hooking call on Kristen Kiggin. So it's going to go as a hook on 23 there. With 8:13 left to go. Man, the counting the time part is the hardest thing for me. So 8:13 here, or 8:13 gone here in the third. Hooking on Keegan will give Post their third power play opportunity of the game. They're 0 for 2 in this one. But they scored twice with the woman advantage yesterday, and if you're going to come back in this one, feels like it has to start now for the Eagles. Karis Kale back behind the net of Rutnick. Still with the puck, gets it back up top. That's Hain. Hain with the shot, looking for a deflection, but couldn't get one from Devlin there. Puck bounces off the boards over into that far end. It's Mikavicus fighting for possession. Tie up with a couple of Sharks and Eagles there. It goes right to the stick of Vreeman, who sends it down the ice for the clearance. 30 seconds gone on the power play. Penalty assessed to Kristen Kiggin. Kale, the lone goal scorer for the Eagles so far in this one. Gets it into the offensive zone. Around the boards. Tie up for it, and ends up going LIU's way as they end up clearing it. Rose touches up at neutral ice, but she's getting harassed. Good defensive play by Butera shorthanded. Still fighting for it is Butera and Kearns. Rose ends up re-controlling possession right at neutral ice. Into the offensive zone she goes, getting around one defender and just sending it in deep. Gets it to Webster. Webster back up top for Zoner. Sends it across Curry. Rose back for Curry. Curry takes it, gets blocked, never hits the net. Rebound was loose, and it gets poked into safety by an LIU defender, we'll say. Ends up going right back on the stick of Kearns, who clears it right back out. Only 30 seconds left to go on the third power play opportunity of the game for the Eagles. Zoner with a head of steam. Gets around 1 and 2 Shark defenders. Stops right in the corner, sends it in for Curry, but left a little bit too long. Goes to a Shark defender, and they end up clearing it once again. Only 10 seconds left. And Grace Babington wins that race shorthanded in the offensive zone. Trying to just take some more time off the penalty kill, and she does it rather successfully. Hain gets it to Hyatt. Hyatt sends it in, but Eagles have to touch back up on sides. They finally do, but a breakout able to form and get set up here for LIU. Vreeman once again with it on her stick in the offensive zone. I've said her name more than once, more than twice tonight. Obviously has the hat trick already to her name, possibly looking for her fourth. Under 10 minutes left to go here in the third. That's Weiland. Sends it across, and that pass just couldn't really go for Knuston. Dykowski with the tough angled shot, but nowhere near. Puck goes around the boards over into the far end. Knuston picks it up for LIU. Into the corner. She sends it in deep behind the net of Saunders. Racing after it is Laka. Laka not able to control it. Now a couple of Sharks and Eagles tied up in the near corner. Kicks out to Webster. Webster gets it to Grom. Eagles looking to clear the zone. Patfield right at the blue line. Just gets it past it. Away from Quackenbush. But LIU and Robillard re-enter. Robillard trying to take advantage of the change. Quackenbush with a shot. Saunders with a blocker save. Ooh, a good blocker save from Saunders sliding across her crease. Quackenbush looked like she had the short side open there. It was a smart shot from her. How about the high effort play from Milana Butera, even up 3 goals late in this game, still trying to force the turnover on the forecheck. Almost was able to control possession going one against the world. Devlin, past the red line, gets it past the blue line, but not able to control it in the offensive zone. Ooh, that puck ends up going through the netting. Here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, it ends up going into the stands. Don't think anyone got hit, luckily. But definitely could be scary. Either way, it'll end up being an offensive zone faceoff for the Eagles. Brandon Brown gets a fresh 5 out there. It's Rose in the circle once again. And Laura Nagy in the circle for LIU. They end up winning it, sending it around the boards, but not able to control it. Kale takes it over for Post. Trying to just send it in for Maddie Noonan, but maybe a bit of miscommunication there. Rose takes it over once again for the Eagles. They go through these stretches this year where they look like they're in every single game, but there's just waves in this sport, and LIU was on one crazy good wave to start off this third period. Paige Vreeman and company able to make it a 4-1 game. Zoner through neutral ice. Going to send it in deep. Back behind the net of Rudnick, chasing after it, Farberman, but Mortal wins that race instead. LIU trying to break it out all the way down the ice, but pass left a little too long, so to say, and we'll have a stoppage with 7:08 left to go. Same five have to stay out there for LIU. Not just the third period, but let's take a look at the game stats here in this one. Shots on goal, 23-22 in favor of LIU, so rather close, but power play-wise, 0 for 3 for Post, 0 for 1 for the Sharks. And meanwhile, in the face-off circle, overall in the game, still Post winning that battle, despite the somewhat big difference here in the third period. Back in their defensive zone, Webster trying to control it for Post, but it was Kearns who won the race there for LIU. Kearns trying to take it away once again behind the net of Saunders, and she does just that. The captain with a high-energy play for LIU, but she gets taken down. Goes right back to Mikavicus, and Mikavicus has it on her stick. Cross trying to break into the offensive zone. Stevens sends it in. And with 6 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the third period, feels like it's now or never for Post University. Patfield going with that mindset, just getting the shot on goal. Rudnick was able to get a piece of it and end up going behind her net. LIU able to clear, get around the referee. Nice jump to avoid the puck. Timmery Grom sends it to the far side. Eagles unable to enter thanks to a good defensive play from Robillard. However, Kai Hyatt ends up taking the shot, but it hits off a defender and goes into the corner. Now coming right to left on the counterattack. Wildfong sends it across. Good back check from Zoner to intercept that pass. Patfield takes over. Patfield sends it in and around the boards it goes. Hain to race after it, so is Robillard. They run into each other in the far boards. A minute not as hard as I thought it was going to be when I was looking at the windup there. Puck bounces off the skate of Zoner, so no icing. Back behind her net. Zoner retrieves. Babington applies the pressure. 5 minutes, 23 seconds left to go. Sharks lead at 4-1 here in the third. Another big collision right at neutral ice. Vreeman takes over. Sends it for Dykowski. Dykowski, she takes the shot, and that one misses up and wide of the net as well. Still on an LIU stick, that's Kiggin. Now across, Kearns got Maffey. Maffey takes the shot off the bank pass. Maybe the unintentional bank pass, and it went wide. Eagles now with a possible 3-on-2 forming here. This is Noonan. Noonan takes it. It deflects wide and almost out of play, actually off the high boards. Dykowski over to the near side. Vreeman, already a hat trick to her name tonight. Now Bernaire with a head of steam, trying to get something going offensively for the Eagles. It's been a quiet third period for them. The Eagles got in the offensive zone temporarily, but LIU just able to keep Post out of those grade A scoring areas for most of the game. And they have a reputation as a stout defensive team. They've certainly lived up to that reputation today. Really not giving Post a whole lot of opportunities. Post, they've done most of the same as well. Looks like a hand's going to get raised here, as I believe Weiland got taken down to the ice. So we're going to have a penalty coming up. And I believe it's going to be on Peyton Tully. So it looks like she is getting escorted off to the penalty box. Mentioned it before, a bit of a tread now for Peyton Tully. Is leading the conference in penalty minutes this year. Looks like she'll go off and take another 2 towards the end of this game. We'll have a media timeout with under 4 left to go. It's 4-1. Sharks on top. 3:54 left to go. I believe it's a trip on Peyton Tully. We'll get the official call in the postgame from the referees. So that's what we're going with up here in the booth. Either way, it puts LIU on their second power play opportunity of the game with only a little under 4 minutes left to go. So LIU looking to add on to their 3-goal lead. Not a whole lot of power play opportunities this year for LIU. They do a decent job of taking advantage. Again, more of a defensive-minded team than not. They do have some great goal scorers on this team, including the ones who are passing it back and forth right now in Dykowski and Babington. That's Robillard back to Babington. Babington almost had it taken away. Zoner unable to clear, but a nice defensive play from the freshman. Babington once again, down low for Dykowski. Dykowski taking it behind the net of Saunders. 45 seconds gone on the power play. Tough angle try off the side of the net for Babington. Eagles are able to clear. It sneaks just past the stick of Robillard and back into the defensive zone of LIU. Under 3 minutes left to go here in this one. Robillard just going to sit back and hang out behind her own net, let her teammate take it. That's Wildfong with a lot of speed into the offensive zone. Wildfong behind the net of Saunders, circling around, back up top. Matthey almost lost control of it, able to retain it. Back to Wildfong. Now across. That's Petruska. She fanned on the shot that time. Noonan might have gotten a piece of it defensively. Those two still working up against each other. Now it's Laka. Back up top from Matthey. A little chip pass down low to Wildfong. Behind the net, Kearns unable to play it cleanly. Mitchell trying to take advantage defensively. Laka in there to help out LIU. 13 seconds left to go on the power play. It's likely going to do it, maybe one last push with the woman advantage for the Sharks. But instead, Timmery Grom comes out shorthanded for post, gets it ahead. Eagles shoot, and that one just missed the net wide. Nice back check defensively again. That's Petruska, who made a really good poke check to eliminate the scoring opportunity. Back at even strength, 0 for 2 in the game goes LIU on the power play. That pass to nobody ends up going right to Timmery Grom. Grom, one on none, takes the shot, and it just misses wide. Rebound chance, tries the wraparound. Puck still loose in the crease. It's still loose right out there. A hand gets raised, a whistle gets called, and we'll see what the penalty is right in front of the net. But a great A opportunity there for Timmery Grom. Maybe a bit of a unexpected play defensively for LIU. And it looks like there's a Shark going back to the box. It's Ryan Kearns getting put in timeout. So the Eagles will have their fourth power play of the game. It's not going to be a full 2-minute one, but maybe they'll be able to take advantage and get some momentum heading into the conference tournament next week. Eagles locked in to be the 7th seed in the conference tournament. They'll hit the road. Meanwhile, depending on the slate of games today, LIU, assuming everything stays as it is, they'll either stay in 5th place or they could move up to 4th place and possibly play a game at home. Of course, that depends on the score of the St. Mike's Stonehill game. Webster with the shot on the power play. That one hit a Shark defenseman. I believe it was Dykowski who got her body in the way of that one. 1:05 left to go in the game. Eagles with the woman advantage for the remainder of it. Emma Hain through neutral ice, speeds past Dykowski. Gets a little help from the pick. Emma Hain gets taken down there. Again, no hand gets raised. Schraffel sends it around the boards, ends up getting it to Dykowski, and now shorthanded. Here come the Sharks. Dykowski tries to get it to Babington, but that pass left a little too long, goes into the corner. Ends up getting out of the defensive zone of Post University. Again, Eagles with the woman advantage here, and 35 seconds left to go in the game, but LIU shorthanded. They have control. Sending it all the way down. Hannah Saunders will touch it up. Under 30 seconds left to go. That's Stevens. Stevens was in the top line today along with Devlin and McKavicus. It's been a productive line all year. That's Hyatt. Racing after it, back behind the net of Rutnick with only 10 seconds left to go. And a must-win game today for LIU. They come in to Shelton, Connecticut. They complete the season sweep against Post. And who knows, depending on the score of the game of St. Mike's and Stonehill, they might have gained a position and maybe are able to get home ice in the first round of the conference tournament. But of course, the highlight of the game, it's Paige Freeman and her hat trick today. Not 1, not 2, but 3 of the 4 LIU goals belong to number 17 in blue. She gets to number 11 on the season on her goal total and end up leading LIU to a 4-1 victory. Taking a look at some of the team stats in this game total. Shots on goal. Post ends up leading in that category 26-24. Ends up winning the shot battle 60-48 in that battle. Power play wise, both teams 0 for. Eagles had 4 opportunities. LIU with 2 opportunities, including one very late in that game. Face-off-wise, Post won that battle as well, 25-22. So the Eagles, there's a ton to like in this final game of the regular season, but it's been a bit of a story all year. They have a good game plan, just having some trouble finding the back of the net. We'll see if that remains the case in the new Hawk Conference tournament. Of course, this game started off really in the second period with a goal from Paige Freeman, her first of this game. It wouldn't be her last, that's for sure. That made it 1-0. Karis Kale answered right back, and we went into the third period tied up at 1 apiece. But then Wildfong made it 2-1. Freeman made it 3-1, and then she finally completed her hat trick to make it 4-1. And that'll be the final today from Shelton, the final regular season game of the year. Thank you so much for tuning into us all season long. We're so excited to get back to it next year. And, of course, we got softball and baseball season, all the spring sports coming up soon. But on behalf of everyone here in the booth, we just want to say we appreciate everyone for tuning into these streams all year long. Once again, it's LIU 4, the Eagles 1. For the rest of our crew, Michael Pulio, Leah Lockwood, Jared Michaels, my name is Max Stapleton saying thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.